I must, in spite of the ovation, say that to be popular may not be always to be right. Romanticizing religion the way you have done goes against the grain of the facts on the ground. The fact of the matter is, religion, both in this country and elsewhere in the world, has been responsible for far more deaths than any other activity of human being has been.
Definitely, I'm not
The
disagreeing
fact
with that.
is,
No, you're
that-
not making the distinction between seeking and believing.
no, we'll come to that. Let me say my piece.
You cannot come to that later. You have to look at it now
No,
because…
no, I will choose to.
No,
I will choose to tackle it when I choose to tackle it.
No, I
I'm
want to
not
tackle
here
it
as
now.
your follower.
No,
I'm
no,
here
no.
as a debate.
All
I'm
right.
here in a
You
conversation.
have asked me a question,
We are
let
here-
me complete it.
I've
huh?
not asked you a question. I'm
You already
stating
asked.
something. No, I've not asked you a question. I've said, I've made a statement that religion has been responsible for far more deaths than any other human activity. I'm also saying that you are happily confusing myth and history and talking about Rama and Krishna walking the earth. Now,
I
it's
didn't say
debatable
earth, I said
whether this is
geography.
history or myth. Shiva having a conversation with his wife and somebody having a conversation with somebody. You can't confuse history and myth and wade into all of this and run a logical argument. I know you are not for logic. At least you don't think logic is the end all of all discussion, at least from the book, which I respect that point of view. Science is not the end. It is for science to discover the beginning of the cosmos and the end of the cosmos. Science is in a process of seeking, of becoming. Religion has become, unfortunately, a certitude, a terrible certitude, which is creating more division, more fraction, more, I think, dishonesty in life, all around us. And that's become even more so in the current age. That's what I started out by saying. We are in an age of godmen. We are in an age of so-called, new age gurus, market gurus. Branding is a symptom. Look at all the branding of all the gurus that are going on. It's ridiculously ostentatious and market friendly. So I'm sorry, but I hope you don't get offended.
You are giving your opinion about everybody in the universe without knowing a thing about them.
Yeah, but that's not your monopoly. But Guruji, that is not your monopoly.
I'm not here to pass a judgment on you or anybody else.
No, because you said that about me. That I'm saying.
But you're saying these are market forces, these are godmen. Whoever in this country called himself a godman, only the goddamn journalists are doing this all the time.
Sure. I'm not exempting my persona as a journalist. Does not prevent me.
Have you seen one person who said, I'm a god man?
Of course, you are saying that. In your book, you are saying that.
What I'm saying?
You are saying, I will do this, I have magic, I create all these things, I touched and created vibrations, I created power there. You are talking like a magician.
I think that…
Towards the last pages of you, please reread your book.
I think you need to little educate yourself about English language then.
How did I make a mistake?
You're making up things.
Sorry?
See, please, you're making up things. If you do not understand the way the book is written, you will need 10 readings to get it.
No, I don't intend reading it more than once, but I have read it once.
If this is the
With due
conclusion
respect
you
to
made,
you.
obviously you didn't get it.
No, towards the end of the book, you are talking about the need for more and more temples. You are talking about how you created vibrations in one temple in the US and made it, godly in that sense. You're not using. But that's even more dangerous in my view. Somebody who calls himself a godman can be dismissed offhand.
Okay.
But while you raise very, very interesting discussions on the need for limits to logic, the need for limits to science, towards the end you are lapsing into total blind leap of faith. In the beginning of the book you start by saying, don't take anything at face value, question everything, interrogate everything, Guruji. And you say that in the beginning of the book. You say, don't take even what I'm saying at face value. Towards the end you say, if you don't have a leap of faith, a leap of trust, I cannot guide you in the garden of wilderness. So, it is a book of self-contradiction in that sense.
All right. Abhi, can I have
Please,
a few minutes?
Please.
Let's understand this. When human beings were just walking on the ground, if a man, first man, came on a bicycle, most people wouldn't believe it. they would think it is something absurd or illogical or magical. It would take a lot of convincing before people who are stuck in their own logic understand there is a way to ride on two wheels. I'm not even talking about an airplane, I'm talking about a bicycle. So all those people who denied the bicycle, at that moment, they all thought they were logically correct, like you.
I don't understand it, but please carry on.
Yes, I understand, lot of things are not understood.
Yes. Unless they're understood, they're not understood.
Because the way you're going at it whatever this leap of faith business you're talking about, there is no question of faith here. We are talking about a dimension beyond your present level of perception and understanding. Any human being who thinks what I do not know cannot exist is wearing the crown of ignorance. The most fundamental aspect of human intelligence, if it has to flower, is to constantly be able to see things that you do not know, things that you do not perceive exist all the time. This has been the exploration of science, this has been the exploration of every spiritual being. If you do not understand the difference between crude logic which binds you down and a logic which evolves you into a different dimension of existence, that is what we're trying to change. That is what we're trying to touch people with, that they do not have to limit themselves to their present dimension of logic and intelligence. There is a way to transcend this, there is a way to touch other dimensions of life. You thinking anything that you don't understand cannot exist is…
Well, so now that you've told me what I'm thinking, let me say what I think. What I think is not exactly what you're saying I'm thinking.
No, from what you said, otherwise I'm not delving into your
There's an
mind.
understanding problem there as well. Let me explain what I meant, or what I think many people here also know what I meant. The simple fact is, science is never a certitude. Theory of science is always based on falsifiability. Falsifiability is the basis of science. Religion and spirituality, may not be spirituality so much, religion certainly…
You better make the distinction. You must make the distinction.
Yes, I'm making the distinction. I am suggesting that you do make the distinction in some parts of what you're writing, but you tend to oversee the distinction, and that, to me, becomes very dangerous, particularly in the times that we live in, because the dominance of religion in public affairs, in the public sphere, is creating more divisions than unity. That's very obvious before us, the kind of tensions that we in society. I don't think it is true that this was always the case. I think it's become more acute, at least in my lifetime of the last 30, 40 years. I can see there's been a progression for the worse. So either I'm seeing it with jaundiced eyes, deliberately, perversely, I don't see why I should do that, or there is a real problem there.
See, people have always been religious, all right? But religion as it was propagated here was never an absolute. There's never… only a debate. But for every kind of mind, for every kind of intellect, there is an option to choose. It is very unrealistic to expect everybody to have a certain type of intellect. It will not work. So for every type of person, there are different kinds of forms and formats to pursue. And very clearly, very clearly, in every village, they have a different god or a goddess. What is it that should people write it on their forehead that we made it up? They're telling you, this is our goddess, this is only for our village. This means what? They made it and they revere it because they need some point to hold their emotion and to look up to something. And this is not an unknown thing. And they don't have any problem going elsewhere and elsewhere. So that type of religion has been there, but first of all we must understand this. This has been a land of seeking. Maybe confused and colorful kind of seeking, because This is how human beings are. Making and putting a label on all of them is a wrong way to look at human beings, because human beings are in different state of evolution. You have to respect where they are and see how to take them to the next place. The last part of the book which is bothering you is to take you to the next place.